The internet loves explaining viral videos. The problem is, it's usually wrong. This ship wasn't floating. This dog might not be guilty. And this chain wasn't magnetic. The obvious answer was the trap. So let's break down 5 viral clips where everyone got it wrong. This image looks fake immediately. A full-size ship appears to float above the sea with a clear gap underneath it. And that gap is what breaks your brain, because ships don't hover. So the internet did what the internet does. Photoshop. Bad camera angle. Hidden waterline. Maybe the ship is behind something. But the ship was not floating. The light was bending. This was seen off Cornwall in 2021, and the explanation is a superior mirage. That happens when cold air sits close to the sea, with warmer air above it. Those layers bend light as it travels toward the viewer. So instead of seeing the ship exactly where it is, you see a shifted version of it, lifted above the horizon. The ship is real, the ocean is real, the camera isn't inventing anything, but the air between them is acting like a lens. And because the ocean has almost no depth clues, the illusion becomes even stronger. Flat horizon, distant ship, temperature inversion, and suddenly reality looks like bad Photoshop. That's why ghost ship stories have existed for so long. People weren't always lying. Sometimes they really were seeing ships appear higher than they should. The mistake was assuming the object changed. It didn't. The air changed the image, and if weather can make a ship look like it's floating, a crowd can make a bridge look like it's failing. This is the London Millennium Bridge, and when it opened, it became famous for one reason: it wobbled. The footage is uncomfortable because the bridge doesn't just move, the people move with it, and the simple explanation became everyone walked in step, and that made the bridge shake. Catchy, but not quite right. The real issue was a feedback loop. The bridge began moving sideways. People felt that movement and adjusted their balance. But those tiny balance corrections fed energy back into the bridge, so the bridge moved the crowd. The crowd reacted, and that reaction made the bridge move even more. That's what made the wobble grow. It wasn't just bad engineering in the cartoon sense. It was a subtle interaction between structure and humans. The bridge was not simply failing, it was responding. And the fix was not to tell people to walk differently. The fix was to add damping, systems that absorb the sideways energy before it builds. That's what the internet missed. It wanted one villain: bad bridge, bad crowd, bad walking rhythm. But the real culprit was the loop between all three. And that same mistake happens when we look at animals. We see behavior, then instantly turn it into a human story. This clip looks like a Pixar short. A coyote waits outside a tunnel, a badger appears. The coyote bounces, turns, waits again, and then they go into the culvert together. The internet saw it and immediately decided best friends. And honestly, it's easy to see why. The coyote looks excited. The badger looks like the grumpy sidekick. The timing is almost too perfect, but the real explanation is not less interesting. It's more interesting. Coyotes and badgers are known to hunt together. The badger can dig, the coyote can chase. So if prey hides underground, the badger can pressure it from below. If the prey escapes above ground, the coyote has the advantage. Each animal covers what the other one can't do. That does not mean they're best friends like humans. It means their survival strategies line up. And the tunnel matters too. This was a wildlife crossing, a human-made passage under a road. So the clip is not just cute. It shows predators cooperating, using infrastructure, and moving through a landscape humans have changed. That's way better than their friends. Because now the clip has layers: animal behavior, survival, adaptation. A cartoon-looking moment with a real ecological reason. The mistake is that we see familiar body language and immediately translate it into a human emotion. Waiting means loyalty. Bouncing means excitement. Walking together means friendship. Maybe there's some comfort there, but the safer explanation is simpler. They're not performing a friendship story. They're solving a survival problem. And if we can misread wild animals this easily, of course we misread our own dogs. This is one of the most famous dog clips ever. Denver looks like she got caught. The owner questions her. She avoids eye contact, pulls her lips back, lowers her body, and somehow looks exactly like a dog confessing to a crime. It feels obvious. That's guilt. Case closed. Except, not really. The guilty look does not reliably prove a dog knows it did something wrong. Research by Alexandra Horowitz tested this idea. Dogs were put in situations where they either did or did not break a rule. Then owners either scolded them or didn't. And the key finding was brutal for every dog owner. The guilty look followed the owner's behavior more than the dog's actual behavior. Some dogs looked guilty even when they had done nothing wrong. Why? Because the human was acting upset. So the dog responded to the tension. That look may be appeasement, a way of saying, please calm down. Not necessarily, I understand my crime and feel moral regret. That does not mean dogs have no emotions, they obviously do, but this clip doesn't prove guilt the way people think it does. It proves humans are extremely good at projecting human stories onto animal faces, and Denver's timing is almost too perfect. The questions, the expression, the dramatic reveal. It plays like a courtroom confession, but scientifically it may be closer to a dog reading the room. That's the uncomfortable part. Maybe the dog isn't confessing, maybe the dog is reacting to us. And now we go from psychology to a clip that feels like physics just gave up. This clip feels illegal. A chain sits inside a cup, one end gets pulled out, and instead of simply falling over the edge, the chain rises upward first, like a fountain. The internet's first guesses make sense. Magnets, hidden wires, reverse video, something pulling it up. Because gravity pulls down. So why does the chain climb? The answer is hidden in the cup. As the chain is pulled upward, the links don't just smoothly slide out, they interact with the pile underneath them. That interaction can give the moving chain an upward push. That extra momentum helps form the arch before the chain falls. That's why the chain fountain is so weird. The part you stare at is the rising arc, but the important action is happening inside the pile. The clip looks like a magic trick, but the explanation is contact mechanics, momentum, and the messy way a chain leaves a container. And that makes it the perfect final clip, because every video in this episode had the same trap. The obvious explanation was looking in the wrong place. The ship looked fake because we stared at the gap under the hull, but the real cause was the air between the ship and the camera. The bridge looked like a simple failure, but the real cause was a feedback loop between the structure and the crowd. The coyote and badger looked like best friends, but the deeper story was cooperation and survival. Denver looked guilty, but the behavior may have been a response to human pressure. The chain looked magnetic, but the real action was hidden inside the cup. That's why these clips spread, not just because they looked impossible, but because the wrong explanation felt so obvious. And that is the dangerous part. Intuition doesn't feel like a guess. It feels like seeing. But seeing is not the same as understanding. Sometimes the internet is wrong because the video is fake, but sometimes the internet is wrong because the video is real. And reality is better at misdirection than we are. So which one fooled you the most? The floating ship? The wobbling bridge? The coyote and badger? Denver the dog? Or the chain that looked like it was climbing by itself? Because honestly, the chain still feels illegal.